Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is David and I got the idea for doing this video from Marissa Bailey. She is an awesome booktuber. I will have her channel linked down below as well, so please check her out. She's awesome and amazing and I love all of her videos. But she did a video where she discussed about all the books that she read during that year so far. So I thought, okay, it'd be kind of fun to do this. This is just going to be my own thoughts and feelings about these books, guys, so please do not get upset if our opinions are different. The Grimm fairy tales I'm actually going to mention in this video, I haven't added any of them on Goodreads, as I'm going to read all of the Grimm fairy tales and then add it to Goodreads as one book. I thought that was kind of a fair thing to actually do. And plus, it probably goes without saying as well, this is all the books that I have read so far at this moment in time. So from the 11th of August when I'm recording this video, this is everything that I have read. So the poems that I've read are A Dream by Edgar Allan Poe, Jeremy Fee's Lover by Jeremy Fee, and A Dream Within a Dream by Edgar Allan Poe. I still need to sort that video out and get it live on my channel. The Grimm fairy tales that I have read so far, which is in my Grimm Tuesday playlist, so please check it out if you're interested. So I've read The Golden Goose, The Frog Prince, The Poor Miller's Boy and the Cat, The Three Spinsters, The 12 Brothers, The Magicians of Bremen, Little Red Cap, The Cat, the Mouse and the Cat and the Mouse in Partnership, The Woodcutter's Child, Faithful John, The White Snake, The Riddle, The Mouse, the Bird and the Sausage, The Three Snake Leaves, Clever Alice, and The Three Languages. So let's get on to the novels that I've actually read. So far I've read 50 books. Starting with Eclectic Nightmares by Jeremy Fee, which is a poetry collection. I rated that a 4 stars out of 5. All these star ratings are going to be out of 5 as well, so yeah, I don't have to say it about 50 times. Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice, 4 stars, fantastic book. The Unparalleled Adventures of One Hans Fall by Edgar Allan Poe. I rated it at 2 stars. Pride Be Damned by Ellen Boyd, which was my first ever author request book for this year. I've got a video where she has a clip in that video that I did on the book, so please check it out. But I rated it a 4 stars. The Blood Beast Mutations by Carl John Lee. I rated this a 4 stars. This is a horror zombie story with a kind of a twist with the whole coronavirus thing. The Golden Bug by Edgar Allan Poe, a 3 stars. Nothing But Black and Teeth by Cassandra Core, which is a horror Japanese story. It should have been longer than what it was. It might have even improved it in some way. But it was okay. It was a fail with a horror book, let's be honest. But I rated it a 3 stars. The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. I had to think about that for a minute. It's been a long day and filming this at night. I rated that a 3 stars. Dissolving Classroom by Junji Ito. I rated that a 5 stars. It's a Japanese horror manga. I really love Junji Ito. I need to read more of his work. Ghostbusters, which is the novelization of the film. If you've seen the film, you've more or less read the book. Yes, things happen in slightly different ways and characters say things in slightly different ways as well. But comparing the two, there's not much difference. But I rated it a 4 stars. The Beauty by Ilila Whiteley. Probably said that wrong. This book I absolutely hated. It was boring as hell. I rated it at 2 stars. Kaiju number 8, volume 1, which is a Japanese manga about a task force whose job it is to take down all these kaiju, which are these massive monsters, and a human turns into a kaiju. I rated it at 5 stars. The Balloon Hoax by Edgar Allan Poe, which I rated 2 stars. The Green Mile by Stephen King. Don't have to say anything about this book. Everyone knows what this book is all about, or should do anyway. But this book was perfection. It was so good. And it's not a horror book as well, surprise, surprise. I rated that a 5 stars. Stumps by Mark Morris. I got that book from a Abominable Book Club box that I got at some point. And it's a YA horror book about this couple or family or whatever, I can't remember, that live in this house, and there's all these weird stumps around their house and they don't know what they are. Yeah, it's okay. I was probably too old to read it anyway. But for me, I rated it a 2 stars. Fragments of Horror by Jrr 2, I rated that a 5 stars. Fantastic short story collection. Especially if you're not sure whether you're going to like his work or not. It is perfection. It really is. His imagination is so creepy. The Evil Dead graphic novel, I rated that a 4 stars out of 5. Pretty much follows the same plot as the movie, but it added some plot points here and there and some things that weren't like discussed in the movie or glossed over in the movie. The Hellbound Volume 1, about this app which people have on their phones which tell them when they are going to die. And when it ticks down to 0, these monsters come out from nowhere and drag these people to hell. And in the world we discover that this only happens to sinners, and this was really good, and I need to find out when the second volume is out. I rated that a 4 stars. Next was Deadhead by Sean Hudson. This is about a detective who has to help a man try to find his kidnapped daughter, who has been forcibly put into the adult film industry that is making all these extreme pornos. I loved it so much, I rated it a 4 stars. Uzumaki by Jrr 2. What else can I say about it? It is so creepy. It's massive, but don't let that put you off. But I rated it a 5 stars out of 5. Von Kemplin and His Discovery by Edgar Allan Poe, 2 stars. Animal Farm by George Orwell. I listened to this on audio and it went completely over my head. I have got a copy of it in my work bag, and I am going to give this book a reread at some point during this year. When I do, I'm not going to count it twice. But right now, I'm going to rate it a 3 stars. Peel Back and See by Mike Thorne, which is his most recent short story collection. Mike focuses on cosmic horror, and I love everything that he has written so far. I've done the whole author request video with it, and he's also got a clip from Mike himself. So I've got a whole playlist dedicated to author request books. It's called Author Requests or something like that. So please check that out. But I rated Peel Back and See a 4 stars. Next was Blood on the Tracks, Volume 1. A strange book, but it's a manga. I rated that a 3 stars. Still unsure whether I want to continue on with that series or not, but it was fine. Hex, which I gave 3 stars. I was probably in a good mood when I gave it that. It could have been better, and it should have been better. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, or the Sorcerer's Stone if you're in America. I rated that a 4 stars. Attack on Titan, Volume 1, which is a manga based on the TV series. I rated it a 3 stars. A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This was a book that felt that Neil Gaiman wrote or should have written. And if Patrick Ness didn't write it, then I believe that Neil Gaiman would have written it and it would have been exactly the same book. But it was really good. I rated that one a 4 stars. The Amityville Horror, which is a supposedly non-fiction book, depending on your perspective about it. But it retells the tale about what the Lutzes went through in their whole experience within that house. But it read more like a fiction book rather than a non-fiction book. So I rated it a 4 stars. It was entertaining for what it was. Dead Boy's Game and the Broken Vow by A. David Singh, which is a historical fiction fantasy book set in Rome. And I've got a whole video for this one as well with a clip from the author. It was okay. It wasn't really my thing, but I appreciated it for what it was. I rated that one a 3 stars. Next was Censor by Jrr. This I rated 3 stars. Wasn't really crazy about that one. The Facts in the Case of M. Vladimir by Edgar Allan Poe. Haven't done a video on this one yet. I am going to at some point, really soon. I want to try get back into the Edgar Allan Poe tales, but I rated it a 3 stars. Next was Prince of Thorns by Mark Lawrence. This should have been better than what it was, but it was Mark's first novel, so I decided to cut him a break for that. Grim Dark Fantasy, not the best, but not the worst. I rated that one a 3 stars. Next was Sword of Destiny by Andrea Spazkowski, the second book in the Witcher series, which is a short story collection. I rated that one a 5 stars. My voice went in there for a minute. Jurassic Dead, that one's obviously about zombie dinosaurs. What else could I possibly say about that? I rated that a 3 stars. Next was the novelization of The Mask by Steve Perry. This one was trying to be as close to the movie as possible, but couldn't capture the essence and the magic of Jim Carrey. But if you're a fan of the movie, you're going to like the book. So I rated that one a 4 stars out of 5. We're in the home stretch here, guys. Next was The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. I mean, it's ridiculous. It is hilarious. It is absurd. It is funny. It is stupid. But I love it. If you are trying to get into science fiction, but you don't want anything too serious, I would definitely recommend The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. You will have a lot of fun. So I rated it at 5 stars. Next was Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I read the 1818 version. It was good. I really enjoyed it. I rated that one a 4 stars. The Swallowed Man by Edward Carey, which retells what Geppetto went through in the belly of the whale. It was a kind of a dark, gruesome, really depressing story, but it was fine. I rated that one a 3 stars. Skullduggery Pleasant, which is book 1 in that series by Derek Lanley, about a living skeleton detective who is a sorcerer that is trying to go on all these cases and help people, defeat the bad guy and save the world and all that type of stuff. It was a YA fantasy book and I had a lot of fun reading it. So I rated that one a 4 stars. I thought I missed one and I did, and that was the second book in the Skullduggery series, which is called Playing with Fire, which picks up right from where book 1 left off. Going to be doing my video review for that one soon. But I rated that one a 5 stars out of 5. It was really entertaining. Next was Blood of Elves by Andrea Spazkowski. This is book 3, or the first novelization of this series, which I really enjoyed, and I rated it a 4 stars. Art Matters by Neil Gaiman. This is a non-fiction kind of coffee table book, which is a non-fiction story, or book rather. It's not a story. Well, kind of, it tells this tale of Neil Gaiman as a reader. But I rated that one a 5 stars out of 5. It was really entertaining. Next was The Graveyard Book, also by Neil Gaiman, about a boy that grows up in a graveyard. I rated that one a 5 stars. That was fantastic. Next was Mouse, which is a graphic novel about the Holocaust and all the terrible things that the Nazis did to the Jews. Again, not my cup of tea, not my thing to read, but I appreciated it. It's something that everyone has to read, regardless whether you like history or not. So I rated that a 3 stars. Next is The Hobbit by Jrr Tolkien. Don't have to say a thing about this book, everyone knows what it is. I rated that a 5 stars. The Howling by Gary Branda, which is, well, I was going to say the movie is based on the movie, but the book came out first, and about 6 or 7 years later the movie came out. But this is about a couple that go into a town where it's got a werewolf infestation. And it's bloody and gory. Yes, it's predictable at times, but I loved it. So I rated that one a 4 stars. Can't wait to read the other books. Next is The Flowers of Evil, which is a graphic novel, and I'm going to be doing my video for this one soon, but I rated that one a 5 stars. And I also read The Flowers of Evil by Charles Beaudelaire. I read this because there's a character in the graphic novel of that book, which isn't a adaptation, but there's a character in that book or the story that is obsessed with that poetry book. So I thought, okay, I'll read it so I can feel complete or whatever, you know, I know what the character's going through. Yeah, I'm not sure what I made of that poetry collection, but I thought it was okay, so I give it a 3 stars. And lastly, I have read Beacon 23 by Hugh, Howie, which is a sci-fi book about a man up in a kind of a space station that has to deal with isolation and trying to keep his eyes open for any incoming threats or anything that might be a nuisance for NASA and the planet Earth. That was a really good story, so I rated that one a 4 stars. And currently I am reading The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. Oh my god, I freaking love that book so much. I wish I could read it quicker, but I'm doing it as a buddy read. I'm reading Dracula by Bram Stoker, obviously. That's an interesting story. And The Endless Steps of a Stolen Soul, which is a author request book. Horror kind of thing about a town where all these bodies turn up and they are completely different or whatever. I'm gonna leave it to my video where I talk about that one. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been super long, and Marissa, this has been especially for you. This is gonna be a pain in the ass for me to edit, but I did it because you asked me to, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. So with all that said and out the way, I will see you guys in my next video.